Good afternoon, one and all. My name is Suvarna Rao, working as an assistant professor, Department of Information Technology. I am taking the subject is e-commerce. Today I will discuss to the topic name is legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. Okay. Name of the topic, legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. So here, any e-commerce having so many risks or problems are you getting, but the customer, where can we go to approach the legally? Actually, I don't know anyone. We don't know anyone. Why? Because of the legal issues also arise. We will contact different types of the departments also there in the government aspects. In the e-commerce business, it depends upon the one is the business side and what about the legality of the business. These two pillars have constructed e-commerce business in the digital marketing. So the main aim of the privacy and data protections is the most important thing in the legal regulatory issues in the e-commerce. The data privacy laws, different types of the data types laws also there. The regulations such as the CDPR, General Data Protection Regulations in Europe, and the CCPA or California University Privacy Act in the USA required business to report customer data and provide transparency about data usage. So the privacy and data protections based on the these data privacy laws, one is the regulations such as the GDPR. Okay, the GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. In Europe and the CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act in the USA required business to protect the customer data and provide transparency about the data usage. We can use these two things. One is the GDPR and the CCPA could implement in the global or any nation. So the privacy and data protection is the most important pillar in the legal issues, legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. So the legal issues, how to rectify. Okay. Then one is the data breaches. Or technical word is there. The data breaches nothing but companies must implement robust and secure measures to protect against data breaches and have a protocol in place of the reporting and managing breaches. So the data breaches nothing but robust and security measures to protect against the data breaches and have a protocol in the place for a reporting and managing breaches. So the data privacy laws and data breaches is the most important thing from the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. So the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business is the most important thing. Why? Because of we can protect the legal aspects and regulatory aspects also required from the e-commerce business. Why? Because of the main aim of the customer should satisfied is the most important. Then buy a product and the satisfaction of the product and provide the good services. All those things comes under you can maintain legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. See here some consumer protections also there. Any country you can maintain several consumer forms or consumer protections also there. One is the false advertisement. It is also one of the important drawback from the any e-commerce business and social media websites. So the false advertisement, nothing but you can advertise the quality of the product or quality of the material or quality of goods, whatever it may be. Then buy a customer or purchase a customer, then released from the only unquality product or mislead consumers. Like in the sense, most of the consumer protection, it is the one of the important drawback from the false advertisement. In the worldwide scenario, we can so many false advertisements is there, but we can advertisement is the one way. Then hold the data or put on the data is the another way. Then automatically based on the advertisement we can book a good product, then not receive the good. It is the false or not satisfactory product or getting the any customer. That is also one of the important thing from the consumer protection. Then protect the First, avoid the false advertisement is the most important thing from the e-commerce business. See, the false advertisement comes under regulation require business to be truthful in their advertising and not mislead consumer. So many false advertisement mislead the consumers, but as a good company, not giving the false advertisement. A true advertisement is also required, or genuine advertisement is also required, should followed by the advertisement ethics. That is also most important thing from the legal and regulatory business. And second one, a return and refund. Unfortunately, the customer not satisfied the product properly, then automatically returns and refund also required. Like laws often mandate specific return and refund the policies to protect the consumer. For example, one consumer book one shoe, but the shoe size is the mismatched. One leg is the one type of size and another leg is the another type of, but both of them in the companies look like, for example, Bata company. Then immediately change the material or change the goods. Then returns and refunds also is required. Why? Because customer does not satisfy properly. Then immediately then change the product. Changing also not satisfy the customer. Then immediately refund the amount also is required. So this returns and refund is the most important thing from the customer side. Here, the law often mandate specific returns and refund policies to protect a consumer. So you can buy any product, customer is not satisfied, refund the amount or return the product, all those things, again change the product is possibility is required. So the returns and refund is the most important thing from the consumer protection. Then after, the product safety. For example, when customer online book one laptop or any electronics good or glass material, then having no protection, unfortunately open those product in the after delivery, then break the glass or whatever it may be. Such type of thing is the very dangerous thing. Why? Because where can be broke, where can be break the material, we don't know. So this type of thing you can apply the product safety. The product safety should followed by the e-commerce. It is the one of the important aspects from the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. The product safety, e-commerce business must ensure the product they shall meet safety standards and regulations in the transportation time, or delivery time, or manufacturing time, or packing time, whatever it may be. In the tracking of your product, then genuine products also required. Why? Because of reach the customer, then you can take a specific product safety standards or materials are receiving the customer. So the product safety is the most important thing from the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. The e-commerce business must ensure that the product they shall meet satisfy our safety standards and regulatory regulations also required. So the consumer products should followed by the one of the best thing is called policy and advertisement, nothing but a false advertisement, remove from the policy advertisement. And second one is the return and refund of the fund also required, and product safety is the most important thing. So these three things is the very, very important aspects in the legal and regulatory aspects issues in the e-commerce business. Then intellectual property. Intellectual property, nothing but it is the one of the copyright and trademark infringement is called the intellectual property. The followed the intellectual property based on the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. First of all, copyright and trademark infringement also required. Comes under the e-commerce platform must ensure that product listed do not infringe and intellectual property rights. So, intellectual property right is the common legal property in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. So, these right also in the consumer form, if any problem will be there, then put on the cases in the consumer form, then right to protect the repayment or reissue of the new product. That is also one of the most important thing in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. And second one is the counterfeit goods. Counterfeit goods nothing but a platform need to have a measure to detect and remove counterfeit goods from their listing. So the counterfeit good and copyright and trademark infringements also most important thing from the one of the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. Here, then taxation. Different in the Indian government would apply the different types of the taxes, GST, or sales tax, or other taxes also is collected. So, taxes comes under after deduction of the tax, then paying of the amount, or with tax or without tax, having two conditions could apply in the any legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. With tax, what about going on? Without tax, what about going on? We will discuss. First of all, what is the taxation? Here, first could apply for the sales tax or international tax compliance. These two things also is most important thing from the taxation. First of all, we will discuss the sales tax. The sales tax in the common tax from the any goods, buying or selling any goods, then first we can take the sales tax in the central government. The e-commerce business must navigate various tax regulation. Any tax should followed by the tax body or tax regulation authorities also there. Then based on the tax authority and tax regulations, you can fix here some little bit amount of the tax. Here including collecting and remitting sales tax in the different jurisdictions. So, it depends upon the nationwide one tax or international wide another tax or statewide is different types of the tax fixation slabs also there. Then we can followed by the everything comes under monitoring of the some various tax regulation companies, including collecting and remitting sales tax in the different jurisdictions also there. That is called the taxation. And going to the other important thing is called the international tax compliance. The international tax compliance is for business operating globally. Business operating globally. In the sense, we can business is going on, elaborate the entire globe or worldwide. Okay, international standards, legal and regulatory issues by applying of the e-commerce business or electronic commerce business. The compliances with international tax laws and treaties is the crucial. So, the international tax compliance is the other regulatory bodies or any government or any nation. It is the different types of the tax conditions could apply. Here, any taxation which comes under one is the decided the nation country and other one is the international standards of the bodies also there. Here, various regulator committees also there in the taxation companies. Sales tax depends upon the national government. Or international tax, nothing but for example, in the farm, buy a foreign car, you can apply the international tax could be applied. Then for business operating globally, those businesses operating globally, compliances with the international tax laws and treaties the crucial. So the taxation is the most important thing, including the sales tax or buy a product in the outside of the world, outside of the nation, then apply another taxes also there, global taxes also is can apply. Here, any material, you can buy a material or buy a material or send sales, whatever it may be, compulsory you can pay from the some tax is the most important. In the Indian government should follow by the any tax that is a some GST under is getting. Okay, here sales tax also important, and international tax compliance is also one of the important thing from the taxation. The legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. Then another important thing is contracts and terms of the service. Here, the legal regulatory issues, the year of the period, one slab is there. Then after change the rules and regulations in the next advanced year. Whatever it may be, the legal and regulatory issues also very issues in the e-commerce or contracts and term services year by year or 6 months or 1 year or 9 months, whatever it may be, change the rules and regulations in the timely. So the electronic contracts, it is the most important thing in the e-commerce business. The e-commerce business must ensure that their electronic contracts terms of the services are enforceable and complete with the legal standards. The electronic contracts, which depends upon the only with the legal standards should be followed, and dispute resolutions also another techniques. So many disputes also there. The disputes, whenever getting the disputes, the loss of the standards, okay, the misuse of the company standards, or misuse of the worth of the company, or false advertisements, all those things, it depends upon the disputes resolution. Here, the dispute resolution clear process for resolving disputes with the customers, including attribution clauses, can help manage potential legal issues. So, the contracts and the terms of the service is always with depends upon these two things. One is the electronic contracts and the dispute resolutions. Also, most important thing from the contracts and terms of the services. So, these two things is the most important thing from the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. Here, payment system. Unfortunately, lost the payment. What about the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce? Payment is the purely digital payments or wallets, whatever it may be, or PayPal, Google Pay, GPay, and so many wallets also there, Amazon Pay, etc. Then the payment system, for example, the failure of the payment, your payment is the detect your side, but not receiving the other side. Then such type of issues, transaction failures also getting. Such type of problems is called the payment systems. The payment system fraud preventions are implementing measures to prevent payment fraud, such as a secure payment or gateway and authentication process is the essential. Then the failure of the fraud prevention with detect those things also required. Then implement the measure to prevent some measurements also required, some algorithms also required, payment fraud, such as a secure payment gateway authentication process are increased is essential. Why? Because of, you can use some algorithm, encryption, decryption, or SSL algorithms also there. We can use those algorithms, then reduce the fraud prevention. Nothing but a payment system will be secure, then customer should satisfied. Why? Because customer send you money, receiver the company, it is very easy. In the meanwhile, the fraudulent is also there, then automatically entire transaction will be failure. So the fraud prevention, we can prevent the fraud prevention in the payment system. How to prevent nothing but such as a secure payment gateway authentication process is the essential process will be increased, enhanced the authentication process also required. And other important thing is called the regulatory compliances. The regulatory compliances with the financial regulation such as the PCI or DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. The regulatory companies, you can create some cards or debit card or credit card or any wallets. Some cards also issuing. These cards, some should follow by some standards. This is called the PCI or DSS standards. The PCI DSS standards means Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Data Security Standard is a mandatory for the business handling online payment. Any bank then making or creating of the card is the same protocol, same standards for the other companies also. Why? Because internally you can change the any data, but card size or magnetic strip or chip, whatever it may be, should follow by the international standards. Or all companies you can provide the financial institutions also there. Based on the financial institutions, information could be taking legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. So the payment system, first, the main important thing is called the fraud prevention, and second important thing is called the regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance is nothing but you can prepare the making some cards, then some standards also required. Why? Because that is the mandatory for business handling offline payment system. Jurisdiction issues. Jurisdiction issues nothing but law issues, most of them. If any fraudulent the transaction will be going on, then it is put on a complaint with help of the such type of issues is called the jurisdictional issues. Jurisdictional issues nothing but cross-border transactions. Okay, the businesses must be aware of and completely with the laws of different countries where they operate or sell product. So you can buy any product. Cross-border transactions also one of the important. Why? Because of different types of the countries, different types of the rules and regulations should follow. Then entire all in the global countries, we can put understanding on rules and regulations. That is called the international jurisdiction issues comes under. We can show the problem in under jurisdiction issues. And the choice of law and form. It is also any problem will be erased in the customer, then rectify those problems with the help of the these laws and forums also a very useful or important thing. The terms of the services should specify the applicable law and jurisdiction for the resolving disputes. So the jurisdictional issues, one of the important thing is called the cross-border transactions, and the second one is the choice of the laws and forums also required. And another important thing in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business is called the accessibility. Accessibility, nothing but how to access in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce. Here, the ADA compliances in the USA e-commerce website must comply with the American with Disabilities Act (ADA) to ensure accessibility for all users, including those with disabilities. So the accessibility is nothing but in the customer, it is one of the most important aspect in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. So the accessibility, nothing but for example, USA e-commerce website must be complete with the Americans with the Disabilities Act, nothing but ADA Act, to ensure accessibility for all users, including those with disabilities. So the legal and regulatory issues is very strengthy in the US government, should followed by any customer comes under ADA to ensure accessibility for all users, including those with disabilities. So the legal and regulatory issues is the most important thing in the e-commerce. And environmental regulation, that is also one of the sustainability goals, the environmental regulations, the compliances with regulation related to the packaging, waste management and sustainability practices can be required, especially in the certain regions. So the environmental regulations is the most important thing from the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. The regulations specific to certain products, the health and safety is the one of the most important thing. That is also comes under legal and regulation issues in the e-commerce. Health and safety, the e-commerce business, buy a product, unfortunately any problem will be there. Any infections also is getting. Then automatically that is also come legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. Here, the health and safety, e-commerce business selling health related to the product must complete the relevant health and safety regulations also required. And the restricted items, some items is not booked from the e-commerce or electronic commerce. Why? Because of some alcohols, some tobacco, some file frames are involved the specific regulatory requirement. Nothing but those any drugs, any alcohol, any smoking, any fire prevention, such type of things is the not by a online marketing. Why? Because having some restricted items is there. Selling items like alcohol, tobacco, or firearms involves specific regulatory requirement. That is also one of the most important. In the sense, the legal and regulatory issues we can go into these two things also required. One is the health and safety also required. We can buy a good product, we can take the good health. Then restricted some items, nothing but don't buy any alcohol, any tobacco, and any firearms involve the specific regulatory requirement. For example, bookie guns is not possible, bookie alcohol is not possible, bookie drugs, don't book the drugs. Some these things is not available in the online marketing. So that is called the restricted items strictly. Why? Because unfortunately, if any problem will be there, and automatically taking a alcohol or tobacco or firearms, whatever it may be, then it could approach them directly in the legal and regulatory authorities in the e-commerce businesses. And best practice for the compliances, one is the regular audits and a legal counsel and training. Then before on that, regular audits also. Conduct a regular audits to ensure a compliances with the relevant laws and regulations. Some awareness also required in the customer. These are the regular audits. And legal counsel, nothing but engage the legal counsels, specializations in the e-commerce to navigate complex legal landscapes. That is also one of the important. Having some training also required from the best practices for the compliance. Regularly train employees on the legal and regulatory requirement in the any company in the e-commerce business. So, what are the legals are there? What about the regulatory issues in the e-commerce? All those things could explain neatly in the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce business. This is my references. Ravi Kolkatla, West Indian Interest B. 4 indices of the electronics e-commerce version in the first edition in the 1996. So many references books also there. I can put here some small books. One is the Divide Rightly E-commerce Strategy, Technologies and Application. Tata McGraw Hill's 2 and second edition 2000. Kamlesh K. Bajaj's E-commerce, The Cutting Edge Businesses, Tata McGraw, first edition in the 2005. Another important book is J. Christopher Westland Theodore, H. Clark, Global Electronics Commerce Theory and Case Studies, and University Press in the first edition in the 1999. Different types of so many references also is given, but having 3 references also there. These 3 references very useful for this today classes. So the legal and regulatory issues is the most important subject in the e-commerce businesses. Okay. That is also one of the important topic from the e-commerces. Here, 2 pillars also there. One is the product and one is the legal rules. Entire e-commerce business depends upon the 2 pillar strategies. Such type of technique is called the e-commerce. One is the legal pillar, and another one is the how to product, how to buy a product, how to sell a product. All those things also there. One area, one side is the products and another side is the legalities also there. That is the basic important thing from the references. In the previous class, I will explain a little bit. The continuation of this one is the extended to the legal and regulatory issues in the e-commerce businesses. So this is my references. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.